That is the word of Martin Luther King 5, 6 decades ago, and it's still true now, even more true now. That is the kind of world that we have today, that just a 1% change in mind is enough to solve all the 17 SDGs. But you know what my wife said when I talked to her? She said, that's impossible because I'm sure many groups are working on that. So I said, let's try it. I wrote to Piketty, and one of them I wrote to was Jeffrey Sachs, summer 2017. And he responded actually fast after saying, let's talk about that. And now 2 years after, we have the program recognized in the UN, we have put it in the Vatican, and Jeff is going to get a resolution by September next year to say, let's do that. At the same way as ODA was coming up at a time where the UN get out and say to the member states, let's put 0.7% to the poorest countries. So we'll do it in the same way. The UN go out with a resolution and say to all the countries, you have signed the 17 SDGs, but you are not coming with the money. Here we have a resolution, go and put 1% tax only for the SDGs. That will be enough actually. But how do we do it? We have to do awareness, but awareness is not enough. We have to call for action immediately. So we are making a big awareness project now with Oxfam, Action Aid, Fight Inequality. We have gathered all the big ones, SDSN Youth, and so on. And I'm hoping I get a lot of help from you to go and push this now. Because like Jeff said, we have to have practical solutions now on the table. I'm full aware of everything you said before on that side about trafficking and so on, but we know that. I know 5 million children under 5 years are dying every year. 5 million children, nobody talking about them. It's about human rights. We are in the Vatican now. And this Pope Francis said what? He said, the human rights are violated because the elite has made the constructions, the system that work for me. We have to change that now because we are violating the human rights. So we are going out now with a huge media campaign and asking people to come and commit the 1%. Normal people can do it. We have 3 categories. Normal people, millionaires in dollars, and billionaires. And then we see how fast it goes and where we're going to go. I want to show you one example of one of the films. I hope it's ready so we can see it. Yeah? Okay. Yeah.
Can be
so we can see what kind of awareness thing.
Was candy. Here we see the poor and the impoverished. They have no candy. In fact, they have never tasted candy before. They can only dream of what it's like to hold a piece, let alone to have a taste. Here's the middle class. They have a little bit more, but not much. Just a tiny little amount of candy to get by. The upper middle class. They can enjoy having more candy, but again, not much more. It's just enough to eat. And the rich. Well, the rich. They have boxes of candy, more than they can eat. They are the 1% that we always hear about. But there is one class that is missing here. The top 1% of the 1%. The billionaires. They have boxes and boxes of candy stacked to the ceiling. More candy than they could ever eat. More candy than they could ever enjoy. In fact, if they would give just 1% of their candy, then everyone in the world would be able to have just a little. Are you willing to give just 1% of your candy so that the kids who've never had candy can try it?
No.
Thank you, Djaffar, for that wonderful intervention, and I think raising awareness about this issue and getting people to understand at really what the scale of the inequality is I think critical, and you have tirelessly advocated for this agenda, and but also come with practical solutions to overcome this issue. And I really want to emphasize this important campaign and encourage all the participants in the room to get involved with it, because we need help to push this. This is a movement, and we need all the support that we can get. But also, I encourage you to go online and sign the pledge, because that's one way to commit yourself and to ensure that we can also get in touch with you with more information, but also to get you actively involved in the campaign. So unless there's anything more, we'll move on. Was there any? Just going now. Yeah.
Yeah, just maybe 10 seconds more. Advice to you, what tools do you need to achieve all this? In my experience, there is one tool that is the most important than all of them, and that is love, poor love. Poor love for yourself, your children, and my grandchildren, Alexander and Vincent, because they're their future we are fighting for. Remember, you will also have kids very soon, and they should breathe fresh air and the same goods that we have. So that's all, thanks.
Thank you.